Welcome to Before Treasures, where we put people before treasures. We're so glad you're here, and we have, for the very first time, a What Sold video, where we show you behind the scenes of our business, showing you what products we listed on eBay and what they sold for, a little bit about the history of the piece, how much it cost us, and any tips we have to share with you because we want you to learn too. There is so much out there for all of us to be a part of this reselling business, antique dealership. All these things are possible for anyone. We're not anything special. We just have a passion for these physical pieces that represent beauty in this world. We have our own website. We have Mercari, Poshmark, whatnot, other places that will sell things. But today we're going to show you eBay and behind the scenes of what sold there. So come on and let's check out what sold on eBay. So to get started today, we're going to look at our store and we're going to see here how we have the collectible vintage home decor as a big feature. If you scroll down, you can see products we've just listed recently, probably today. And so these are what's coming, but we're going to look at what sold. We're going to come and start with this Royal Doulton piece. Now, Royal Doulton was a very popular just even a few decades ago, and it was extremely popular for the last century. They are porcelain figurines from England that are hand created and hand painted. So they have been sold for hundreds of dollars back in the day. Now the value's dropped, and so you have to be careful how much you want to invest into them. So sometimes you'll see in a thrift store a Royal Doulton listed for, they're gonna sell it for $35 because they used to be worth $300. But now you don't want to put more than $5, $10 into a Royal Doulton because the resale is for you on eBay or other websites around $35 to $40. Now, there's exceptions to that, and the market could change again since this video came out. But this piece here is one of those unique kind of different pieces because it's not a lady figurine, but actually a male soldier that you can see here is the hand painted. It's called Caviar. The date there is 1975. There are usually dates on the bottom. If not a clear date, there's ways you can date them. Of course, there's different coloring and hand painted here, which really people really like. Now, this is interesting here. You can see it sold for $85. No, it didn't. It got crossed out because on the what sold side of eBay, this means a best offer was accepted. Well, I happen to know they offered $77, which we of course accepted being so close to the asking price. But this is why that's why we like best offer, because it offers that communication that somebody found our site. They had to sit there and think about this piece. They had to be scrolling and find us. And so we just want them to feel comfortable to say, hey, I have this much to offer. And what that difference was actually was the shipping cost. So we charge our customer shipping, but you can send an offer, and we often get these that are just like $10, $15 less, which usually is the cost of shipping. So in their mind, they're getting free shipping, which is great for all of us. So we're very happy to receive offers this way. So this is about the Royal Doulton piece and a little bit of history and tips on that. The next piece we're gonna look at is a board game, or a very special dexterity game called Tumbling Dice. This is where you throw the dice down and it rolls down, and however you get it to roll down that pit is where the points you get, and you take that number times the dice you see. So this would be like, the 4 on a 4 times is going to be 16 points. Really good. Now this is actually a really nice physical piece game, and you can see how my pictures, I try to take different amounts and different angles to try to really capture the piece, the name Nashville and things like that. This isn't necessarily the easiest to film because it is so large, but it sold for $120. We paid $10 for this on a trip to Canada that we found this in a store, and we brought it back with us and took some pictures and uploaded it here. So this is one of my favorite passions is board games, and I think if you keep an eye out for different ones that you can find are valuable, you can always take a picture of it, scan it, and because it's so clearly labeled with all the cardboard, you have so much information, you can usually find the value of what you think it should sell for. I think the value could be $150, but I wanted it to move, and I'm very happy with $120, knowing that I paid $10. So this is a little bit about this game. The next one here, you're going to see something very odd for us, but toys can be valuable. So this is a Fisher-Price toy that you can see here has these little finger puppets that you put your hand in, and it kind of rolls up into a tube, and these little squirrels that you can look at. So actually I don't think these are the finger puppets. We had another one that was finger puppets, but cute little house. And because it's so rare from 1979, you know, there is some childhood memory that, you know, reselling is such an emotional business. You're connecting to people's histories and memories. And I know one time we sold a doll that somebody had lost in a fire, and they had reconnected it and found it with us, and it was actually a hand Facebook marketplace delivery, and they just were emotional, and it was such an honor to be a part of that connection and them finding their treasure again and bringing it back. So definitely know that toys are an emotional business that we could be a part of. So there's some squirrels for you. Next, we have a really fancy here. You have the Ralph Lauren lamp. You know, at a thrift store, we paid $12 for this, but we had looked up and saw the value of this price. And so this one sold, I think it was $164. You see that the best price offer was reduced, but the value definitely is there when you're putting in 12. We love the 10 times rule, and that is we don't want to buy something unless it's going to be sold at 10 times its value. Now that is tough to do, but it keeps you from investing too much money or getting too much money tied up into one specific product, because you never know what you're going to find next. So you don't want to empty out all of your money into one piece that is only going to double or make 4 times. Now there's exceptions to that rule, and there's times that you know a piece is going to sell so quickly it's worth breaking that rule. But when you're learning and figuring things out, 10 times rule is something we really live by. So we're really happy that we put in 12 and got 175. So here you go. There's some beautiful pieces of this. How did we know it was that brand? There we go. It says Lauren on the Zoom Baptiste right here on this screen here. You can see that. So we're really thrilled with this find and sell. This is actually pictured in our house. This is one of our personal pieces, a Lladro horse porcelain figurines. We really love those. So there we go, Ralph Lauren. And sometimes displaying something in an environment that you can inspire that user to lay out their new pieces is a great way to take pictures as well. We are going to look at something that a lot of people know about, which are Pyrex dishes. Now these are nesting bowls. They're the most popular, but any Pyrex bowl, not the clear ones, not anything modern, but these vintage Pyrex bowl with these really mid-century coloring, often green or very, muted colors, pale colors, I should say. I don't know how you could actually all describe that. This is what we have here, are a great investment if you can find them at a good price. Often people know about these and they'll have $24 a bowl. We've seen that a lot, and so we walk away because that's for somebody else. But for us, when we can see these came to us at $10 for all 3. So of course we picked them up knowing that for sure it's going to be at least $100. And in this case, it sold for $112. The offer accepted. Could have waited a little longer to get that extra $20, but we like to keep the money growing and moving because you never know what's going to come next. So we accepted that offer and moved on to the next product. And that for us is a value that you might have heard from other people that we learned ourselves, that from a mentor that we had, that says, do you want all the money some of the time, or do you want all the money all the time? So I got that backwards. Do you want some of the money all the time, or do you want all the money some of the time? Do you want some of the money all the time is a yes, because you never know what's going to come next. So that little tidbit is not unique to us, but it's something to think about for sure. Here we have a piece that was from Switzerland, Germany area, that is hand-carved wood. It actually is about 5 inches tall. It looks kind of big there, but it's really zoomed in, and that's why your sizing like this ruler here is important to put into pictures, because yes, the information is down below as well, where we put it here and here in the item specifics, but sometimes people don't look there and they just want to see those pictures and get a sense. I often put an apple beside my pictures to give a visual indication of how big something is, to also help the buyer find us. So this was listed for 90, sold for 75. Really happy with that. Hand-carved pieces, of course, are an effort of love from somebody, and that value can stay there, especially if it's a known brand in fashion like this. So this is a piece that you could take a screen capture or an image on Google Images and find who made this piece often. Not every time, of course, because hand-carved is unique every time, but because of the style was so indicative of Hans here, it came up readily, and we learned about this piece. And now when we see them, we grab them because we know there's a nice value to them and a beautiful piece of hand-carved art you can see all the way through this piece. So a little bit of how we find the names of these folk art here. This is a very different fit for us. Every once in a while we'll do this. This is a Nordic wear. These are kind of an oddball for us. We don't tend to like to do that, but I want to show you that we do break our rule of home decor on eBay. We don't want to mix this into our other stores, like our actual website, but for when we come across something for $1 or $2 that we know is going to be sold, in this case it was $25, we might grab it and put it up on eBay, because eBay doesn't tend to matter thematically what we sell. Now back to that store, this is our store. You can definitely categorize, and so you don't see things that aren't in that right category from them. So know that you're safe, in our opinion, to grab things that are money, that will blow up your money, investments, however you see fit. Some people are saying niching down, get one thing on your store and it's better, and that could be true. But for us, we just don't have that one niche that we feel so confident in that we can't, when we see something that has a significant value, we will grab. And this is one of those cases, a Nordic Ware USA. This is of course a pan muffin that you can have really fun shapes for families and things. Along this line of, this is back to our passion, global figurines, massive investment from many people in this United States, from around the world too. In the 70s, 80s, 90s even, people, and of course earlier than that, but there was a huge blow up. And so a lot of people in estate sales, thrift stores, that generation is passing away and leaving these behind. Now, we have seen that their children often think they're ugly, not attractive, and not valuable. However, we have seen them still be very popular. This piece is just a tiny little piece, nothing that special about it. It wasn't actually rare, but you can see it sold for $35. We have sold others for thousands, hundreds. So global is not done. Hummel figurines are going to be most commonly $35, but there's all kinds of sizes that will increase the value. Uniqueness, rarity, and sometimes age that'll come into play. So Hummel value is still across the board. Now, you wouldn't want to generally invest more than $20 unless you know it's a really rare one, because it's only going to sell for $35, and that's not even doubling your money. So we leave that on the shelf for the next person. But if you can find them for $5, if you're learning about them, you're going to do well. You're going to do fine to increase your money 5 to 6 times in those situations. So know that we are fans of Hummel. We have seen them successful. This piece was made in 1989, and this is a 5-year membership. They had these clubs for a while that people would subscribe to. So these are pretty neat pieces here. So that is a Hummel figurine and a little bit about them. Next, we're going to go to even another topic, which I can't wait to get into in future videos, but these are rings and earrings. Jewelry in general is an amazing market that has endless potential, and it takes up hardly any room in your house to store, and is really easy to ship. But it's so tricky to know what's valuable and what isn't. So here we have a ring that actually opens up like this into a little, and you can see the information there, into a little mirror that the person wearing it can open it up and look at themselves really quick on their finger. And how fun is that for somebody to use as a gift nowadays, or just a costume jewelry outfit, or they have somebody they want to honor a special moment or memory. But it's made in Stratton, England, right there on the piece. And so we found this at a thrift store for, I think it was $1 or $2, and we just knew, because it had some names and information, that it's worth picking up for $1 and learning about. In the end, it's sold for $34. So $1 becoming 34 times your money. Always worth it. We learned something, so now we know some history, because we didn't really know much about it before. And we take the things we know and put as much as we can down here in the bottom of the page. So thank you so much for watching this video. We really enjoyed having you here. We just got 2 more pieces we want to look at, and then we want to hear from you after this video. This one is a die-cast pencil sharpener, and here you can see that they have only sold for less than $45 because it was the best offer, and that was $33. But I'll explain what happened in just a moment. You can see these are tiny little pencil sharpeners, and $35 doesn't seem like a lot for these things, but we only paid $1.99 for them in a bag. Really inexpensive, because they're all in a bag together. So $1, $2 becoming $33, really good. Now the other piece are these swords, which were also in a bag, and you can see here they have very clear markings on them saying that they were made in Portugal, Spain. and Poland. They have these really fun details, and they're actually swords, but what are they for? Opening letters, of course. And these were also in a bag for $1.99, so really inexpensive. And so we know what somebody did. They made an offer and they bought them together. And here's that order. You can see that you can combine items on eBay and add it to the same shipping costs. And these shipping costs here, they paid $26. And you can see some of the unique things here about fees, the shipping label, how much it cost us, and then the advertising fee, giving us $62 actual money from this order, which we're really happy with when we invested $4. So these are some times in Goodwill, in St. Vincent's, Paul, and Salvation Army. You will find things in bags, which are really nice when they do that. And they put these tiny things inside, and sometimes they're really valuable. And so we definitely recommend looking in those areas of Goodwill or any thrift store estate sale when things are grouped together. Sometimes you can find some nice treasures in there for a good deal. Well, I hope this video was helpful in so many ways, and I hope that you learned something today. Now, please, did we get something wrong? Would you have charged more or less? What is something that you have bought or sold recently? We'd love to hear about it in the comments. Please tell us who you are, if you subscribed, and what you want to know about next, because this is just the beginning. We look forward to continuing the conversation at Here Before Treasures, because we believe in people before treasures. Have a good day, everybody.